Well, some of the key challenges that Southern researchers face in sharing their research are as follows. One is producing good quality research output. And for that, there is a need to enhance the visibility of Southern researchers through interaction with counterparts from around the world, including tapping into resource persons that would shape their research. Two is finding outlets. Southern researchers normally have difficulty in finding outlets to publish their work. And for that to happen, they also need to connect with others outside the South who have access to publishing houses and who can tailor their work to meet the requirements of the publishing houses. Alternatively, it would be good to enhance the availability of outlets within the South itself so that Southern researchers can publish their work in outlets that are based in the South. As we all know, a good part of their research is country-based, which may not be particularly interesting for international journals. The third aspect of what Southern researchers face in communicating their work is essentially the relationship between their work and the policy-making community. As we all know, economists have a tendency to speak to themselves, and little do they realize that they are writing for the wider public. So there is a need, therefore, in this context, to inculcate in their minds that as they do the research and as they interpret the results, they should have different audiences. One, the academic audience. Two, the policy audience. And the policy audience may require something different from the academic audience. And the key challenge here is how to tailor their research to the policy audience. And that's the critical challenge. Organizations like mine, for instance, are involved in the business of capacity building, particularly in the area of increasing the ability of Southern researchers to conduct policy-relevant research and that research to reach the policy-making community. Now, in terms of the campaign in Connecting South, certainly there are important not only lessons but synergies between the AERC for one and this particular project, because we are interested not only in connecting Southern researchers among themselves, which is what we normally do, but also connecting researchers to the policy-making community. And the best way to go about it is to ensure that our researchers get a feel of what it takes to connect with the policy-making community in Africa. But not only that, because policymakers, not only in Africa, but elsewhere outside Africa, ought to know what is happening in Africa as well. Because in essence, we live in an interdependent world, and much as we want to connect within the South, it is important also connect in the North, because we have interlinkages with the North, and development partners ought to know what is happening in the South, what capacities exist in the South, and that may also cut down on development assistance costs, whereas rather than using Northern consultants to do work in the South, they can identify Southern researchers and professionals who can do as good a work as would have been done by the Northern researchers and consultants.